So welcome to another episode of Godfred and Sisu on the Devil in the Detail podcast. Sisu, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I've had a long week.
I can tell intercontinental travel is not for everyone,
Yeah, a long week, a very long week.
but it's
I've
good
not
to
even
have
been
you
able
back.
to post my graduation pictures, but I'll post them. I'll
Okay,
post them.
please share the graduation pictures. It's not every day that we get somebody graduating from the university somewhere. So
You,
yeah, and
you know,
congratulations.
thank you. I found out I had a very notable classmate.
Oh, I did. I saw you,
Yeah,
Mr. Chinampo was in your class.
exactly. I was very surprised, but it's good.
You
More
don't have to answer
Ghanaians.
this one. Did you attend lecture?
Oh, I believe he was a distance student. Yeah, I
Okay.
believe he was a distance
All
student.
right. Anyway, let's get to this. So today, as always, for those of you who tune in, and thank you, our numbers are growing bit by bit, and we are happy. Always don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also do share. If be today we're doing a bit of a detour. Normally we would mix things up, but today we are keeping it pretty straight. The menu is not too complicated. So we're doing a lot of domestic football because the Ghana Premier League is coming back, and obviously we need to talk about that. And then a couple of things happening in Europe as well that we will want to address off the back of the coming. No, I would have wanted us to do something on the back of the World Cup qualifiers, but we'll see what we can do, and then also a big week
I
coming
think I
up.
think we can do some 2 minutes on the World Cup qualifiers, just 2 minutes.
Okay, all right. We'll,
Me,
we'll,
me,
we'll,
me,
we'll...
I don't have too much to say. I'll just say that I'll congratulate Otto on his results, but the performances needs to improve. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Uh, I actually wanted to have a debate with you. Perhaps we'll have it later on good on the minnows of European football versus the minnows of African football. So if we had a match, a hypothetical match between Chad and Andorra, who would win?
Oh, it's Chad easily. I don't
Okay,
even have to think about it.
Chad will beat
They put in
Andorra.
Andorra. The people in Andorra, they are bankers and masons and whatever. At least the people in charge, they are professional footballers. So,
I'm with you on that. And, following the European qualifiers, it just occurred to me that, and I've always thought about this, there are a lot of teams that have part-time footballers making it in the qualifiers. They're really small teams. Your Faroe Islands, your San Marino, your Andorra, your Liechtenstein. It
yeah.
is rare to find an African team, national team that is made up of part-timers. You won't get.
No, no, no,
Everybody's
no,
a
no,
full-time
no.
footballer.
I think the only exceptions might be Eswatini and Lesotho.
Mm,
And even then, because I don't know too much about them, I think those would be the only exceptions. And I think European qualifiers, if we are being honest, geopolitics hasn't helped them.
yeah.
Because the breakup of Yugoslavia and the fall of the Soviet Union has added a lot of countries that ordinarily Cruyff, Van Basten, and co never saw in their lives. So, and it's not to talk about, people are talking about Depay, Lukaku, Ronaldo, the amount of goals they've scored compared
Yeah.
to previous greats. And it has helped them, to be fair, but if only scores in front of you. And there's also the argument of self-determination. Why should the people of Moldova not get the chance to play qualifiers once they are a country? When they were part of the USSR, there was no Moldova national team.
Exactly.
Now Moldova is there. There's so many countries like that. So it's a whole different thing. I think African qualifiers are way tougher than European
Mm.
qualifiers. But at the end of the day, as we saw against was it Moldova that
Norway,
Norway
Norway,
scored 11?
Norway
Yeah,
gave them an
Italy,
11-1 lashing.
Italy didn't score 11 against Moldova.
That's
Goal
true.
difference is important. You have to score your goals. So
Okay.
I think, yeah, but I think
Well,
African qualifiers are definitely tougher for
well,
sure.
I have quite a few things I am looking up to this weekend, more so than you because Ghana Premier League is starting. So I get to see a few things. You are not in this part of the world at the moment. So, and you're not
I
working.
don't even know how I watch it. If I say I want to watch, how will I even watch?
You can listen to me. So, yeah, so a few things coming up. Any thoughts on it?
Oh, me, I think it's just, it's good, but I just want more promotion for the league, more attention. I want it to be a bigger building block for the national team because, funny, I was having a discussion with my uncle, sorry, Free, about the issues with the Black Stars and stuff. And he mentioned that youth development
Yeah.
is part of the problem. And that's why the Black Stars are not doing well. And it also the league is also part of it. Youth development in the league both need to improve to give a bigger base of players, a bigger platform, help the Black Stars produce better players. Because remember we talked about the last time, so we are not relying too much on the foreign nationals. So I think the league is very important, but I don't think the league is well run because we've spoken about some of these things before, and you will give us some top five and those things. And I have a question: how do you even judge a team that's changed 14 players? Just quickly, how do you judge a team that's changed 14 players over the summer? If everyone changes players, like how do you have an idea of who's good and who's bad in a situation like that?
We are going to do football analysis we'll do for you. But let me tell you about a couple of good things that have come up. And I do share your sentiment about the league not being well run. That's been the case for many years. Hence, the lack of interest in the league. And how do you identify this? Well, fans are a no-show. Unfortunately, the Ghana Football Association or the league board doesn't necessarily keep data for its attendance. But if you pay attention, you would easily be able to tell that attendances have been declining at most of the venues around the Ghana Premier League for about a decade now. And so something needs to be done. But I also appreciate the attempt to make improvements. And one of the things that was announced this season, for instance, is the Adisa broadcast rights thing. Because, if you can't put the game on TV, who are you expected to come and watch? You need to be able to attract people. So what's basically happened is by virtue of a partnership between the Ghana Football Association, the government, and Adisa, top quality production of the league has come and the games will be made available on television. So what we are told at the moment to start with is there are three live games. So there's a game live on Friday, there's a game live on Saturday, and then there's one game live on Saturday, which I think is cool. I would have preferred if it had originally gone to Ghana broadcasting, like Ghana television, because it's fairly
So
common.
just to ask, the Adesa, is it like a paid for service or they're on digital? What's that?
So no, it was going to be it's FTA, it's free to air service, so nobody's paying
Oh,
for this, which was
I
also
think
one
once
of the
it's free to air,
problems.
that's
Yeah,
very good. I think that's good.
yes. The fact that it just goes free to air again is even an improvement for me. It's a good way to reach more homes and lots more potential fans if they might see something on the TV and feel like, this is a team that I can follow, or this is a player that I can go and watch. So I like that one, and I hope they're able to keep it up. I saw the dry run, one would say, of the Champions of Champions. It wasn't it wasn't too bad. The commentary was good, but there were limitations because of the nature of the stadium. So the camera can't really give you the best of angles. But it was much better than the fare we were served the past 2 years, and even sometimes the past 3 to 4 years. So that's cool. And then there's more money, Susu. So the initially the league winner would get a prize, right? And maybe the runner-up would also get a prize. But what the FA has decided to do is one, increase the prize winner, the money for the prize for the team that wins the league significantly, and everybody else gets money. So there's more incentive for teams to perform well because you get money. So, for instance, the team that wins the league is getting 2 million Ghana cedis, which is an improvement. The second team gets a million Ghana cedis. That's also an improvement. Then 800,000, 750, all the way to about the 15th position, where you will get 200,000 Ghana cedis. So there is an incentive for teams not to throw games because we've
I
also,
was I was thinking that. I'm glad you said that. I was thinking it.
yeah, because let's not hide the fact that a lot of teams have thrown games in the last couple of Ghana Premier League seasons because of all kinds of reasons, mostly because they just don't have the money to make trips or they just don't have the money to pay salaries. So players show up and there isn't much to play for. So I'm particularly happy with some of these improvements that are coming around. And the Ghana League, I think it kicks off on Friday. Um, what else? Well, a couple of things also, Susu. I did the homework for you since you have decided not to do the homework. I did the homework for you on the
You know me,
teams.
I like homework, but this homework is beyond me. It's beyond some homework I can't do.
So, about yeah, so that's also like I said, that's those are some of the things that are new. We have Stone Boy performing at the stadium at the opening match. That's not bad, right? You say something, it's not
It's
bad.
no. I agree with you. It's the type of thing that it might make some people come, oh, I want to see Stone Boy and stay for the
Yeah,
football.
the
So it's
president is
okay.
also attending the opening game. We haven't had that before. The
Oh,
president
wow.
being at the opening of the league. And like, I don't know what, quickly, your thoughts on something like, because it's pretty clear the government is interested in the domestic league this season and is finding ways to make it work. One, the broadcast money, we are told, although nobody wants to admit it publicly, we can assume, that it's coming
Eh,
from from
eh,
somewhere.
No, the things you are saying are very encouraging signs. Like, I would probably have been less critical of the FA in my time at City FM if they had been doing some of these things, because these are some of the things you want. You want games on free to air. 3 games a week is a good start
Yeah.
because you're also competing in European football. So it's difficult to find the time slots that people watch and that kind of stuff. But putting it on TV is the first step. Once it's there, some people will watch. Some people will be interested. Like you said, now there's prize money for every other team. So less incentive to throw games. So it means late season games, there's a bit more competitive action because you can even, as a team, tell the players that you get a share of the prize money. So depending on how well you finish, you get a share of that. That's an incentive for the players to play better rather than to throw games or to look for something else. So I like the changes. I think the government needed to help a bit. I don't know how much the government should help because I'm still not sure about the GFA, but these are very good steps. I'm not going to come here and pretend that everything that is happening now makes everything the GFA has done in the past okay. But these are good steps. And these are like the basics for a league to start functioning. We need to start these things to move forward. So let's see how it goes. But it's encouraging signs for sure. Like I'm happy. I think the game being on TV is the main thing. I think that alone will at least give people the chance to watch. And if some people are able to get involved, watch the game, be attracted, is a good first step. Because when I was a kid, even I don't remember watching full games on TV, but at least highlights were on TV.
Yeah.
I could definitely watch highlights on TV when I was a kid. So I at least knew the teams, knew the players because I was watching highlights. Because kids, you can't watch full games. You don't have that concentration to do that. But something was on TV for us. So, but when I became a teenager, it was a lot harder to find these things on TV, which is why my interest was not the same. But I'm just happy it's on TV. So that's the first step. And I'm happy that there's more money for the teams. And let's hope that the teams have some. I would just want stability in players. I know we are not there yet, but that's what I want.
Okay.
So
And
I'm
then
happy.
let me just also, for those of you who are interested in catching up with it, there are a couple of teams that you might want to watch. I think um, Swedro All Blacks coming into the league is a good thing. Um, for years, they've always been a good ground to visit if you want excitement and atmosphere. Not necessarily good football, but they always bring a vibe. And so I'm happy that they are back in the Premier League. So for those of you who want to enjoy, a bit of an original Ghana football vibe, you might want to visit the Swedru Sports Stadium to watch a game of the White and Blacks. The
Are
Swedru.
you sure you're not saying that because of all our Sueju people that we know?
Oh no, 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 that is
Eh,
not it. They've always been vociferous about their support for their team and they don't let up. So there's a lot of dancing, and just even the build up to games. It's never an empty atmosphere. So
yeah.
if you ever get the chance, do go and watch. The same can be said for Hohoi, that I've spoken several times about for those of you who follow me. Hohoi United is also one of those teams. If you get the chance to watch them, they play very good football. I would say they might be one of the most Premier League ready Division One teams that I have ever seen. They already had a proper 8,000 all-seater stadium ready for the Premier League that they used in Division One. They have a crazy fan base who fill the stadium every Sunday. So imagine a small team that can put
And you know what? That's
8,000.
that's what we are talking
Yeah,
about. That's what we need. Teams that, and it helps the TV spectacle. Because if you go
yeah,
to a stadium like that with a full capacity stadium, it looks nicer on TV than to see empty stands and you can hear the players shouting. It's
yeah,
all part of it. So I'm liking that. These are
yeah.
these are good. These are good.
And I like what I've seen of Masudi Dramani's Accra Folk. I must admit, I wasn't the most excited when he was given the job, but the football that they've been playing has been encouraging. And anytime House of Folk plays well, the atmosphere at the stadium is always good, really. They have fans who really keep up. So yeah, those are some of the venues that you might want to go see. In terms of players to
But
watch,
I have a question, just a slight one on
go
the
on.
Heart of Oak before we go.
Yes.
I've been to the stadium a few times, and it can get, because of how big it is, when it's
Mhm.
empty, it looks very bad.
Yeah.
What percentage do you think at the start of the season Hearts of Oak will be able to get? I'm sure it would, if the league campaign starts going well, people will pick up because
Yeah.
I think there's always that bandwagon effect. If you remember when
Mm.
Hearts last won the league, towards the end, the attendances were getting higher. You saw when they were playing Kotoko, there was a
Mhm.
capacity crowd and that. So where do you think the fan base is at now?
I think the fan base is at a 10,000 capacity for games consistently. Big match days, then they can do 25,000. So hopefully, if Hearts of Oak had their own facility, so what a lot of people don't realize is, so for instance, let's take some of the proper well-supported teams across the continent. So like your Mamelodi Sundowns or your Simba or your most of the games that we watch are the primetime games where they are playing each other in front of 50,000, 60,000. But on regular match days, that is not where they play. They have smaller venues where they play.
Mm.
You understand? So they are playing in front of maybe 12,000, 15,000, and it still looks good. But when they have to play a big game, then they move to the big one. So that's why the Legon Stadium was such a good idea for Accra Folk, because you could always feel, that intimacy and the rush of the fans when they play at the Lagos Stadium as compared to the Accra Sports Stadium, which is a bit hollowed out because it's so big. But hopefully, because there is some interest now because they are playing well, they can keep it up, as you say. You
I think you are right about the Lagos. And also, I think students are good to have around because students, they have time.
Yeah.
They are Saturday evening can feel like, oh, let's go and watch some ball or something. So
Mhm.
yeah. No,
It's
I
cool.
like that. I think the smaller teams will probably be the ones who bring their fans. The teams who have been around for long, I think some fatigue will settle in because you're not there, you're not doing anything, and there's no consistency. So yeah. But like you said,
Mm.
interesting times ahead. Me, you're actually making me excited.
Yeah,
Small. You've managed to excite me. Okay, which player
and
should I be excited about? Which player should I be excited about? Let's go.
okay, so if you want players to be excited about, I've done my. It was pretty hard considering, like you're saying, every season teams are changing 14 players, 15 players.
Mm.
Kotoko have changed 15 players this season. Accra Folk have brought in quite a bit. And Diana Stars have brought in virtually a brand new team. Karela have brought in virtually a brand new team as well. But I would say Rudolph Mensah Jr. Rudolph Mensah Jr. was the all-round top goal scorer in Division One football last season. He plays for Swedru All Blacks. He's very, very quick, very skillful. Uh, I think he will make an impression in the Ghana Premier League. So if the All Blacks show up in your area, look out for Rudolph Mensah Jr. I genuinely think, also because he's not a newbie to the Ghana Premier League. He's played in the Ghana Premier League before. He's had his ups and downs, but he seems to have become a lot more experienced with his finishing. He's always had explosive pace. If somebody was good enough in his teen years to play in the United States, back then, it tells you that at least he had something. It didn't work out, but he seems to have figured out the local game. And last year scored a lot of goals. I think he will do well in the Ghana Premier League. So you can watch out for Rudolph Mensah Jr. of All Blacks. Then there is Hoho United.
Do you have like a player confirm, like a more well-known player that he plays like to give people an idea of what we are looking at?
Well, you are looking at the movement of Cristiano Ronaldo up front, not the
Oh
skill
wow.
level, but the movement and the speed. He's extremely quick.
Oh, okay.
He's extremely quick.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds like an interesting one.
Yes. Then, like I said, Ho United is loaded, but they have in their captain is a player that for the past 3 years I have said any proper Premier League team should have signed back then. His name is Osman Safiano Zaidu. I think he's the best box-to-box midfielder in Ghana. Simple. I'm not talking about Ghana Premier League. Well, he's the best box-to-box midfielder in Ghana. If you can take my word for it, or you can decide not to take my word for it, but
I'm taking your word for it. I'm taking your word for it.
it is what it is what I think. I can tell you this. He almost made the Unity Cup squad to London as a Division One player, but
Mm.
got left out because the coaches preferred to observe a player that they felt had been around the national team before, and they wanted to give a chance to again for continuity's sake. That is how come he
Mm.
missed out of the Unity Cup. Otherwise, he would have made the Unity Cup squad as a Division One player. He's very, very talented on the ball, big, powerful. Think Aston Villa's Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, think Aston Villa's
Okay.
Rogers, and you would have Osman Safian Zaidu
He's a
there. I
very
mean,
strong carrier of the ball.
very his ball carriage I have not seen before in our local game, and I've watched a lot of local games. Then House of Folk have Martin Kari. Martin Kari has been at House of Folk for a bit, but hasn't had the chance to explode. But I've watched him under Mashu Didi Dramani, and there's a lot there, Susu. There's a lot. I think he could be the main guy for them. They've signed wisely. Dramani seems to have settled the team a bit. So Martin Kaikai is another one to watch. Then Precum Chelsea is always a team for those who want budding stars. They sold half their first team last season to, league rivals. Kotoko signed a bunch of their players, but they kept the crown in the jewel. A kid called Vincent Klu, who is also a winger, left-footed winger, likes to play from the right. I think in the age category of under 19s, my last check, nobody played more Premier League minutes than Vincent Klu last season. Scored a lot of goals and assisted as well, at least for his age category. I think he could also be one that people should keep an eye on. And then lastly, the boy that they call the football demon.
Mm.
Is that
Mm.
football demon?
This one,
William.
yeah. Do we have to pray or something?
Oh, you don't
Football
have to
demon.
pray, but if you're an opponent, you might have to pray, especially if you are a right fullback, because William Odro is nightmarish to play against. He will play on the left side of attack for Oho United. Um, Somebody might say, "Oh, but we've seen wingers." I don't think
But you
it.
said two Hohoi players, oh.
That's
But
why,
you finish. I'm coming there.
yeah, that's why I
You
told you that they
finish.
might be the most Premier League ready team I have ever seen.
Mm.
If they get it right. William Odro, like I said, I thought should have made at least the local Black Stars quite a bit. Former player of Aspire Academy.
Is that the one in Qatar?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, explosive skill level, intelligence on the ball, has done his work. He's just a natural winger. He doesn't play backwards. He's constantly coming at you. You won't sleep if he's on your side of the wing. So for those who are going to watch, these are my 5 players that you can monitor in the Ghana Premier League.
And don't forget Benjamin Asare, our Black Stars goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, he's a well-known entity, so I'm not going to mention, but of course he's an attraction. But if you get a
Yeah.
chance to go watch the goalkeeper of the Black Stars, why not? Go in and support the
Mm.
goalkeeper of the Black Stars.
Exactly. We
Yeah,
are going to America. He's taking us to America, so we have to go and support him.
yes.
So, who do you think will win the league, though? Who do you think will be the teams who win the league?
Susu, it's a hard question, but I'm going to do this. I'm going with Adriana.
Okay.
I look at the data, and Adriana has been the most consistent top 4 finisher in the league for the past decade. And if I look at how they've strengthened and the positions that they've strengthened and how strong they are at home, I don't see a team that will stop Aduana this season. So they brought in Kamara, Jamfi, Mezake Free. Remember, Adoma Kubuatin was at Accra Lions. He was a big signing for them. And they've signed William Denchi, who's an old hand from Accra Folk, won the league with BBN Gold Stars, and has joined them. And they've brought back their all-time goal scorer, Brighter J, who went to Tanzania. And I think that's where the key is. That mix of league experience and talented young players. They've got a central midfielder to die for, who used to play at Tema Youth. His name is Seydou Sana. Incredible, incredible talent. So Adriana is my my tip to win the league. Accra House of Folk is my runner-up tip. I think I think Gigi Dramani has something going there. If he's able to strengthen, especially in the second round of the league and avoid injuries, I think the quality of the football and his tactical know-how should see this team do well. Gold stars will be third in my on my list of predictions. Kotoko fans, stop scratching your head. But gold stars, they'll be playing in Africa. I would have had them much higher, but they are playing in Africa. So I think
Yeah, and I've
the
noticed that when our teams play in Africa, the schedule gets completely messed up.
yes,
I think
yes,
our league has not equipped itself to deal with teams playing in Africa. So you see that it will be at some point, they are maybe 5 games behind or something. Then when they have to play all those games at once, the fatigue sets in and they can't get the results. So
exactly,
very understandable.
exactly. So I think that is the only reason that is stopping me from because I watched the top four, and they are going to be very hard to beat if they are just focused on the league. It's a complete team, also a good mix of talent and experience, and their financial backing. You understand? Teams like that are always hard to beat. And then Asante Kotoko, uh, I tip to make a top four appearance, but not to finish top three. And then to wrap it up will be last season's runners up, Accra Lions. Sorry, Bando Heart of Lions. I think they will wrap up the top five. My bottom three relegation for the 11 Wonders, I think will go back. That's rebranded Legon Cities. I don't think anything is going to change. So they are going back down. Um, Swedro All Blacks, I'm sorry, even though I said we should go and watch them. But
It'll be fun, but they'll lose a lot. Eh.
yeah,
But
I think Swedro,
it's the friends they make on the way.
yeah, they I don't think they've signed enough to uh, make up the grounds for a team that's just joined the Premier League. But
The
hey,
the striker you mentioned, you said he plays for Sweden, right?
yes, Rudolph.
You don't, yeah, you don't think you'll be able to score enough?
Even if he scores enough, his goals alone won't be enough.
You think the defense is just not there?
Yeah, and they brought in an Egyptian coach. We'll see. They have an Egyptian coaching crew, not even just a coach. They have an Egyptian coaching crew.
I have a friend who works in Egyptian football, and he's not very complimentary about what they are doing there. So I don't think that will help, to
Yeah,
be honest. But we'll see.
and then Young Apostles. So my bottom three are 11 Wonders, All Blacks, and Young Apostles. So that's my Ghana Premier League wrap up. And so, like I said, hey, for those of you who are interested, you can always hit the subscribe button, take our tips, go to the Ghana Premier League venues. It's not just about the opening day. And big game at Accra Sports Stadium on Friday, Accra House of Folk versus Hawthorne United. That's a massive, massive game. Kumasi Asante Kotoko versus Brekum Chelsea. That's in Brekum. That's a local rivalry game. So massive, massive game as well. I hope the stadium is in good condition. The Brekum one. It's always not been a good place to go, but let's just hope. And then I think Dreams versus Lions is also a thing. So we'll
Which Lions? Accra Lions or Pando
well,
Lions?
out of line. So that's also a thing for the Ghana Premier League. But enough of the Ghana Premier League. So quickly, before we have to wrap this up, Manchester City have a game against Manchester United, but that is not the focal point. I looked at the data. Manchester City last season didn't score the kind of goals they scored. And if Haaland doesn't score, they seem to struggle to score. But the problem they also have is Haaland doesn't get involved in play a lot. What's going on at City? Like, how come they're not, like, where are the goals?
Um, Last season the main culprit was Phil Foden because I believe everyone expected him to take up that Kevin De Bruyne role. Because remember, he had just won Player of the Season, then he disappeared, and right now Phil Foden has still not appeared. So you're looking at the other players to try and make things happen. And when I look at the other players, Marmoush, like I said, I think he's a good player, but he's okay. Like I don't expect Marmoush to score 15 league goals, Playing in this new system, he is a Man City. I look at the midfielders he have. Tijani Reinders, he gets into the box a lot. He scored 11 goals last season, but I remember complaining to the other AC Milan fans that when Tijani Reinders gets into the box, I lose hope in the attack because his finishing is so bad. So great movements, but poor finisher. Then I look at the creativity who's trying to replace Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not sure about Duke. Doku, Savino, whoever. Like they've signed a lot of players, but I'm just not seeing the impact. So it's like Haaland is still a great finisher, but I don't think the service is there. And I believe that that's the main problem. They are trying to refix the team to feed Haaland, but it's just not working right now. So Man City, and to be honest, if we even talk about the upcoming match, they have a lot of injuries actually. So I'll be very surprised if they're able to beat United just because it's a difficult match. You have a lot of injuries. And what I've seen from Amorim's United is that they get worked up for these big games.
Mm.
So they will have that kind of, we are worked up, we're ready to play. But City have a lot of injuries. And I think Pep is still trying to figure out the team he wants to play because you signed James Trafford, more of a ball player. Then you come back and like, you know what? I want Donnarumma. I want a pure shot stopper. You look at the defense, there's a lot of changing and things. So I believe that we'll see the true Man City maybe somewhere in November, December. But the problem is by that time, you might be out of the title race.
Mm.
So I think there's just a lot of tweaking that needs to be done. Look, Haaland is still Haaland. I think this is one of the first seasons in a while. Like I think he had a 5 season span where he has scored more goals than appearances in the league or something like that. And last season kind of brought him down to like average. So I'm not concerned about Erling Haaland, but it's a very simple solution. You need to fix the team to find a way to give him service. So a lot of players need to step up. Foden, Bernardo Silva, Savinho, Jeremy Doku, all Oscar Bob, all those players need to step up and feed Haaland. Because once Haaland is getting the ball will enter the net. We saw it against Moldova. All due respect to Moldova, when he got the chances, he buried them.
Mm.
We've seen it time and time again. And look, you know me, I'm a data guy. Look at Haaland and look at his XG. If you give Haaland an XG of about 10 or 12, he will just give you a bit above. He's not going to give you just 12. He's going to give you 14. He's going to give you 15. So once the ball is coming in the right positions, he will score. And that's his superpower. He's always in the right position. His movement is great. I think he has a lot of weaknesses to his game. I think his heading is not as good as it should be for someone his size. I think he's not great with his right foot. So I think sometimes he ends up contorting his body to over rely on his left foot. But the fact that he gets in those positions time and time again reminds me of Cavani. If you remember Cavani used to have some of the worst misses you could imagine. But at the same time, I would always say, look, I can't be mad at Cavani because Cavani is one of 3 strikers in the world who get that chance to miss anyway.
Yeah.
So if he misses it, it's his right. And he'll keep getting those chances. So for me, Pep just needs to fix the midfield, fix the ball progression, make them more compact because they are conceding a lot of chances, which is why Donnarumma makes sense. So I think Pep, this is probably the toughest managerial ask of his career to kind of break his team apart and build it up. It's something we've not seen him do. And it's something that's always been used against him when he's being compared to Ferguson and co, which is fair that he's never done it. But you don't need to do it when you keep winning. Sometimes your job is to come to a team that's nearly there. They give you the reins and you take them to the promised land and win trophies. That one is also a form of success. So it'll be interesting to see if he can be there, break it down and build things up manager. I'm not sure he is, but it'll be fun to watch.
And then let's travel a bit further up and deal with the nut house now that has become Nottingham Forest. We always knew Marinakis had madness in him from his days at Olympiacos, but he had pretty much behaved himself slightly since his takeover of Nottingham Forest. But sack Nuno Espirito Santo and bring in Ange Postecoglou. It's somebody who says it's a good time to fire a coach, but good replacement.
Oh, this is the nationalist choice. I think people over forget that Ange was actually born in Greece. He lived in Greece until he was about 7.
Yeah.
So he's still a Greek person. When he played in Australia, he played for a Greek team. It was a Greek team formed by Greek people that played together and that kind of stuff. He is Greek. He grew up in Australia, but he's very Greek. So for Marinakis is hiring the most successful Greek coach in history. That's his thinking. I think a lot of people, this is missing on a lot of people.
It's
that
true.
Marinakis
Like it
is
just occurred to
hiring
me.
the most
It just occurred to
successful
me.
Greek coach in history. For him, he's got basically, he's like, I've got a Greek person. I'm a Greek. I mean, this guy, we know he loves Greece. He's got a Greek coach to hire for his team. It's the perfect match. Whether it's the perfect match in terms of football, I'm not sure. But for Marinakis, I don't think he could have gotten a better choice of coach. Ange has just won the Europa League, so he can always say that this guy has won trophies. We are going into the Conference League. We want to win it. I'm bringing a coach that has won something in Europe. I'm bringing a coach who has lived by his words. I always win something my second season. So yeah, I think for Marinakis, everything. This is the perfect appointment. Whether it's the best appointment on paper, I'm not sure because, as someone said, I'm trying to imagine Nikola Milenkovic defending on the halfway line, Marcel's being a super keeper, and it looks like a disaster waiting to happen. But look, I think Marinakis, if they win the Europa League and finish 14th like Spurs did, he'll be very okay. That's what the Europa League. They are playing the Europa League, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the Europa League. Yeah. It's Palace were in the Conference League. So they are very happy with that. And I think Marinakis, this is a nationalist appointment. I don't think we should overthink the football merits and that kind of stuff. He's basically found a Greek manager he likes and he can justify. So he's hired him. So let's just leave it at that and hope it works out for both their sakes.
All right, then Susu. And just before we wrap up, Susu, I just saw Accra House of Folk. Get on your phone and check the new Accra House of Folk jersey. They just
Okay, let
launched,
me do that.
yeah, they just launched their jersey, their home and away jersey for the season. House of Folk, House of Folk, House of Folk.
Are you liking it or you're not liking it?
It's a three.
Is it 3 out of 10?
It's a three for finishing. I can get the concept and I like the fact
No,
that
no,
the
no,
original
no.
colors are back, but the finishing.
Godfred, even 3 is generous.
Oh, for
Oh,
the home jersey, you are not giving the
the
three.
home jersey is basa. It's basa.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, Charlie. Some way for me. Anyway,
Yeah, the home
House of Folk fans,
the
go and
away
get the
I
jersey. It's
like
a three for
the
me.
away jersey is cool for me. The away jersey is a tapping 6 out of 10. They've
Yeah,
kept it
yeah, I
simple.
get. I
You
like the
added the Yeah, the away jersey is fine, but the home jersey, ay, ay, ay.
All right. Anyway, three
It's
for
a
me.
bit
Two jerseys.
it's a bit too artistic. I don't know how to. It's a bit too artistic. Sometimes keep it simple. Charlie, this is half. Oh no, no, no. Charlie phobia. Don't do this. Don't do
You should.
this.
I think it's just the finishing. Get this. House of Folk are not the kind of team whose jerseys should be. I know exactly where they sold the jersey. We shouldn't, Charlie. Yeah, it's okay. Hi, we are by the streets. You let's deal with the streets. So, Susu, thank you very much for spending time with us again this week.
You spoiled my day with this House of old jersey. Is 9 is quarter to 10 here. I have to think about this jersey the whole day.
Go
Thank you,
and think
Godfrey.
about it. Thank you so much, Susu. And as always, hit the
Yes.
subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Thank you very much. We'll be back with another episode. Bye.
Bye.